This week on The Week Ahead, we look at how to save some green by cutting green projects. Plus, we hear from Congressman Rob Bishop about the government's grip on Western land. Welcome to The Week Ahead. I'm Frank McCaffrey. They call them green collar projects. These are projects centered on making something such as a housing project more environmentally friendly. In President Barack Obama's recent near $1 trillion stimulus, billions were thrown into training programs for these new green jobs. But the question is, do these jobs even exist? For more on this, we're joined by Americans for Limited Government Communications Director Rick Manning. Rick, what exactly are they supposed to be training these people for?
Well, that's really a great question because those jobs really don't exist. The green job is a myth, and we're spending billions of dollars to train people for jobs that don't exist. That's really a human tragedy because we're taking people, we're building their hopes up that their job will exist. They're spending their time, energy, and effort to be trained for it, and that hope is going to be ripped away because those jobs don't exist here in America.
Rick, according to reports, $4 billion is being thrown into these environmental projects, and $500 million of that is being thrown into these training programs. Do taxpayers realize how much they're actually spending on this?
I don't think taxpayers have any idea how much money is being poured into these projects. At a time when we have record deficits and have to get our budget in order, it is absurd to spend $4 billion total on green jobs initiatives. That's money that we need to save. It's money we need to reinvest in other places. And quite honestly, it's money that we need to take out of the budget. We're looking at a budget situation that just makes this whole expenditure absurd. We don't have the money to waste. We don't have the money to play games by trying to do social policy or transform the energy sector. What we need are jobs, and we need good jobs. And the fact is, this money is a waste.
Now, there are reports that the contract for these green job training programs are going to friends of the administration. That's what some people are saying. Who is getting these training jobs?
Well, that's one of the things that's really scary. It's being rumored, and a number of reports are saying that there really is job steering here in terms of friends of the administration getting the actual contracts to run these training seminars. And if that's the case, we have basically Chicago politics being at play nationally, where you give contracts to help your friends, and it doesn't matter that these contracts are being fulfilled or not. It's really about just taking care of your friends through giving them government money. We can't afford that any longer. It needs to go away. It's wrong morally, it's wrong ethically, and it's wrong fiscally.
Thank you very much, Rick. Congressman Rob Bishop of Utah is fighting a battle that representatives from other states may not fully understand. He says the government grip of his state's land is detrimental. We spoke with Congressman Rob Bishop about how he wants to get his land back into the hands of his citizens. If you live in Western American states, you'd better be careful what you do on those famed wide open spaces. You see, the owner is very powerful. In fact, the owner is the federal government, and it wants more of the land. Utah Congressman Rob Bishop explains.
Public lands were originally established for multiple use purposes. What this administration seems to think is there is no purpose in multiple use. It was started by Babbitt as an interior policy group, supposedly as a way for environmentalists to try and get their hands on more land and change things out of control of the Bureau, out of control of BLM and even Forest Service. Unfortunately, in the omnibus bill that passed 3 years ago, came over from the Senate, that was hidden in the bowels of that bill. Standing on its own, it would never have been codified.
Bishop notes that government ownership of Western land has had some loopholes at it since the Democrats took power in Washington.
Now we have a real fight. We have to recodify it. But this Interior Secretary wants to beef it up, put more staff, more money into it, as a vehicle to try and once again make sure that land is put away and no one can actually use it.
Many people in Western states believe that the lawmakers of the East don't fully comprehend how much land we're talking about here. Here's an illustration. Utah, like a number of Western states, is massive in size. In fact, it's close to 85,000 square feet of land. New Jersey, like a number of eastern states, is much smaller in size at 8,700 square feet. In fact, you could fit around 9 New Jerseys in one Utah and fit close to 6 New Jerseys in the portion of Utah that's public land. And Congressman Bishop says that's land that should be turned into something that benefits education in Western America.
We have a higher growth rate than those in the East, and we got more kids there. It is impossible for Western states that are the so-called public land states to fund their education system to the tune that other states that don't have that problem, that millstone around their neck can do. This administration policy to lock up lands and refuse to develop their potential hurts kids. It hurts the education in the West, period.
As the new subcommittee chair in the House Resources Committee responsible for overseeing public land, Bishop says he's committed to the fight.
I'll do anything I can to make their life miserable.
Frank McCaffrey, Americans for Limited Government. Bishop has particular interest in education. Prior to his career in politics, he worked as a high school teacher. And now we look at areas where government could make cutbacks on its massive spending. Back to the green-collar world, ironically, before the push to create green jobs, America was privately producing solar panels in Frederick, Maryland. Unfortunately, the overenthusiasm about investing in green technology caused lower-cost solar panel manufacturing plants to pop up in Mexico and China, destroying the U.S. solar panel market and resulting in the closing of the BP solar panel facility in Frederick, Maryland, costing hundreds of green-collar jobs in an area that was about to get hit hard by the recession. Perhaps funding these type of activities is a bad idea. And that's all the time we have for the week ahead. Please join us again next time. For more on these and other topics, visit netrightdaily.com.